Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to Summertime Tarot. For those of you who don't know, my name is Summer, okay? I hope everybody is perfectly splendid. If you watch like all four of these videos, man, you're gonna get tired of me saying that. But I'm not gonna get tired because I don't get tired. But yeah. Anywho, man. So as you can see by the title, we're doing something a little different today, okay? I recently, binge watched The Haunting of Bly Manor. I enjoyed it. Now, if you don't want to hear my spiel, okay, go ahead down to the description box. The timestamps are down there, okay? But otherwise, so what did you guys think about The Haunting of Bly Manor, right? As you can see from the title and everything, I decided to kind of break this up into kind of 4 sections. I split them between, genders. So we got males in some videos and we got females in the other videos, right? Because I felt that would be a good thing to do. That's the only other reason, right? But, I feel like when it comes to The Haunting of Bly Manor, the men and the women kind of play different roles, right? If you watch the first video or the part 1 of the female edition, you'll see that when I talk about The Haunting of Bly Manor, I feel like when it comes to the females, right, there's this energy of, the lake, of kind of like this whirlpool energy that kind of sucks people down, brings people down, right? Associated with Miss Viola Willoughby, right? But I feel like when it comes to the men in The Haunting of Bly Manor, they're more so, I feel, represented, or how should I say, connected to the house itself, right? So the day that I binge watched the series, right, I pulled cards, and these are the cards that I got. This is the Hoodoo Tarot, if anybody's wondering, right? If you're ever interested in any of the cards that I use in any of these videos, you can find that in the description box. But I got these 2 cards, right? Aunt Caroline and Courting, both in reverse, right? If you don't know, Aunt Caroline is the Wheel of Fortune in this deck, and Courting is the Lovers in this deck. So both of them were in reverse, right? And I felt, okay, that makes a lot of sense, being that, I watched that show that day and I was like, oh yeah, right? I feel like it really symbolizes, the whirlpool energy, but, that's kind of the female energy, right? But if you look in the card here, right, you could see the house in the background. And I feel like in, like I was saying, in The Haunting of Bly Manor, the female energy is mostly associated with the lake, right? With the water, with that kind of, moon kind of dark energy, right? But when it comes to the men, I feel like their energy is more so associated with the house, right? And how if you look at Miss Viola's storyline, right, after she dies and her husband kind of throws the trunk into the lake, after she dies, either way, she kind of wakes, she sleeps. What does the narrator say? She sleeps, she wakes, she walks, right? And after after her chest or her trunk is thrown into the water, she wakes up and she walks to the house looking for her daughter, right? And I feel like the house very much symbolizes, right, that masculine energy within the story. Where the women kind of cling to, right? I'm not coming at nobody, but the women kind of cling to the house because that is the space that they found this person in, that they started their families, or that they had this very, tumultuous love story, or, they found themselves when they were going through a dark period, right? So let's talk about, Miss Viola, right? The house is kind of associated with her family life, her husband and her daughter, right? So that's kind of the masculine energy, that thing you kind of go back to when, you feeling a bit lost, you don't understand what's going on, right? If you go to Rebecca, she stays, right? And she waits for Peter even though she kind of second guesses herself, everybody's like, oh, he's trash, you know, that kind of thing. But she stays at the house because she's waiting for him to come back, right? That's the energy. Or Miss Hannah, right? After her husband leaves her for another woman, right? She kind of clings to the house. She associates herself. She applies her loyalty to the house and all of the people in it, right? So the family that lives there, she kind of holds on to it because it's kind of the only solid thing that, you know, she feels like she had. And I feel like a lot of the women, you know, in the story kind of clung to, right? If you think about Danielle, she kind of clung to her fiance, even though she she didn't want to be in that relationship. She kind of clung to it because it was all she knew, right? And I feel like with her storyline, you kind of, even though she leaves him and then he dies, you know, it's still something that haunts her, that still follows her no matter where she goes, right? It's kind of this story, right? It's kind of like the house is the holding place for all of these stories that, you know, the characters tell themselves or that they hold on to, right? And even though they're trying to create a new story, they have a hard time of letting go of the old one. And I felt like that was very symbolic, right? Even with the men in the story, you think about Peter, he kind of carries this story along with him. So even though it's not necessarily a house, it's a story that he holds on to, that, you know, people can't be trusted. Nobody's loyal to anybody. I'm only loyal to myself, that kind of thing. And that follows him everywhere he goes, right? If you think about Owen, he came to the house because, you know, his mother was sick. And so it was like a story that he had to hold on to, right? A picture of himself, a picture of who he was supposed to be, right? He's supposed to be this good, I wanted to say husband, this good son, take care of his mother, right? And put his dreams to the side. Or if you think about Henry, right, who was shunned from the house, right, after his brother found out that he was having an affair with his wife. You know, even though he was away from the house still played a huge part in his life, to the point where it kind of made him see himself as these two separate people, right? Even though his brother kind of was like, he went off on him, boy. Oh my goodness. But even though, you know, he wasn't even there at the house still played a big part in his life. And he still was attached to it, even though he wasn't physically there. It still was kind of hovering over him, hovering over his life, right? But yeah, man, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about the series. But to this here, what we're doing here is we have four folks, right? 4 piles associated with 4 of the characters, right? I have split it up, like I was saying, with males and females. Okay, this is the male part, but I only have 4 of the main characters in the series, right? There will be a part 2, so if you don't see the character that you want to look into, or you feel you most resonate with, be sure to check back on the channel later on. Make sure you go and look for the other parts of this whole kind of series that I'm doing here, right? Now, when it comes to picking your pile, right, you can pick it any way you want. You can just do it based on number. You can do it based on which character you resonate with the most. But being that this is, associated with horror, I would suggest that you pick the person that who kind of rubs you the wrong way, or that you dislike the most, right? Because I feel like usually, right, the people and the things that irritate us the most, or rub us the wrong way, or make us feel some type of way, that's where, our messages lie, okay? But we have, as pile number 1, we have Peter Quint, all right? Pile number 2, we have Miles Wingrave. Pile number 3, we have Henry Wingrave. And pile number 4, we have Owen Sharma. Okay. But we're going to go ahead and get started with pile 1. So that's Peter Quint. So for the folks who picked pile 1, right? With Peter Quint, okay, right? If you kind of resonate with Peter Quint, or even if you don't even like him, right? I feel like there may be some things here from your childhood, right, that you may not realize affected you as strongly or as powerfully as they did, right? Because even though Peter Quint, he was kind of a jerk. Let's be honest here, man. He was kind of, but he was still, he's still a person. He still had his issues. He still had his things that he was carrying around with him that he didn't completely process. And because of that, that affected his relationships, that affected how he saw himself, how he saw the world, how he interacted with people, right? So just make sure, if there are some kind of unresolved issues or traumas from your childhood, that you spend some time kind of healing and reflecting on those things so that they don't affect you in a negative way, okay? But let's go ahead and see what the Haunting of Bly Manor is trying to tell you about your love life. Right, you may feel unworthy of certain things, right? Of love, of abundance, of good people in your life, maybe even, right? Right now, if you're attracted to like the Peter Quint characters, that's another story, man. But I feel like you may be attracted to the kind of like the thrill of the chase, or the chaos associated with, let's see, we have fear here. So it reads, I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Yeah. So I feel like, some of you may be kind of boxing yourself in, holding yourself back when it comes to love, right? You may be afraid of kind of opening up. And like, as I was saying, it may be associated with past hurts, past pains, past traumas, maybe even going as far back as childhood. You may have like experienced something that kind of shaped the way that you see relationships, and made you a bit fearful of connecting with people, right? Or you may even be afraid either of being hurt or hurting someone, right? Let's see what else wants to come out. Right, but that fear is kind of blocking the love that you want to come in, right? And it may even be having a negative effect on your relationships. If you are like in a romantic relationship, you may like have like trust issues, or you may, be controlling, or you may be attracted to folks who are controlling. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so we have love. It's not about finding love. You are love itself. Help me, Lord, to send so much compassion and caring to the inner child that I always remember I myself am love. Yeah, the inner child showing up. Yeah, like I was saying, you may have experienced something in childhood that shaped the way that you see love, that you see, romantic relationships, that it may have made you a bit fearful. You may even feel like you are unworthy of love because of certain experiences. And you may have a hard time opening up your heart or sharing your love with other people. right? But with that inner child showing up, right, it may be time for some inner child work. It may be time for you to kind of sit down and reflect on your childhood, reflect on how certain things affected you, with, you know, from your upbringing, and how it affects how you view romantic relationships. Oh, okay. Ooh. Anything else from this deck? Okay. So we have dreaming. Yeah, so some of you, I feel like some of you may have like your walls up. You may kind of like push people away, or kind of feel like you have to like protect yourself in love. But I feel like there is this desire to open up, to kind of have a grand love, right? I like that word, grand love. But I feel like you may have a hard time like expressing yourself, expressing your feelings, opening up to people, right? You may be afraid of even like being abandoned. So you may like just kind of keep to yourself, or like close yourself off from people in order to protect yourself, right? Almost like a need to control, right? Like Peter Quint. Not saying like you're like crazy or nothing, but like you may kind of close yourself off or box yourself in order to protect yourself from other people, right? You may even kind of have this kind of hard persona, right? So that no one comes close to you, right? In order to protect yourself, right? But I feel like there's this kind of inner beauty, this inner kind of soft side that you don't let a lot of people see. And it's because, you want to protect yourself from being hurt. But I feel like when you do open up, you are like a very loving and caring person. But you're very protective of yourself. And I feel it is because, you've been hurt in the past. Right? But that kind of closing yourself up is kind of blocking the love that you want from coming in, and making it harder for you to be your true authentic self. Let's see what else wants to come out here. This deck. Excuse me. Now, like some of you may focus heavily on like work, or just like the physical material world, right? Things, activities, in order to kind of avoid your feelings, right? You may like with this this Father of Air, this King of Swords kind of showing up in reverse. I feel like you may be a very like analytical person, and you may shy away from your emotions. You may be very practical, and I feel like it's in a way that is kind of hurting you, or just hurting your relationships, because you may have a hard time understanding people's emotions, or you may be so shut off from your own that it's kind of hard to connect with you. Right? You may even kind of, when you see people or when you think about relationships, you may even have like a negative mindset about it. Okay, so those wanted to come out. So we have the Silver Waterfall and the Distorted Feminine. Okay. Right? Some of you may even have like a negative relationship, or just a painful relationship with your mother figure or the women in your life, right? If you are female watching this, I feel like you may, there may be some things here that you haven't released, right? That still need to be kind of cleansed, right? If you are female, you may have like a negative either relationship with your mother or with your father, that kind of affects how you connect with other people, how you experience love, how you give your love as well. You may be very kind of cold, maybe even blunt when it comes to, you know, expressing your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, right? It may be hard for people to kind of get to know you. And I feel like it's because, you know, you have been hurt and there are some things that you haven't really kind of let go of or completely released from your past that are still affecting you emotionally. Let's see what else wants to come out here. Right, but I feel like there is this desire for love, but I feel like you may, the song that's coming to my mind is How to Love by, what's his name? Lil Wayne, right? And you may have a hard time opening up and connecting with people. And feeling comfortable enough to be yourself. Right? I feel like it's like a need here to realize just how, you know, what you kind of like what you bring to the table, how worthy you are, how important you are. Right? And not needing another person to kind of tell you that or show you that, but needing to understand it and believe it within yourself. We have the Two of Cups here. Yeah, I feel like it's like a need for you to really kind of spend time connecting with yourself, loving on yourself, right? Like very much a self-love kind of thing where you spend time like reflecting, connecting with your emotions, understanding yourself. Look at that. The Hermit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So some of you may even kind of experience maybe even some anxiety, some depression here. Right? You may feel like very lonely. Right? And I feel like it is like a desire for love, but I feel like you may not even feel like it's even worth kind of taking that step, right? Be it because of past experiences or just your idea of how much work it'll take to kind of get things moving in the right direction, right? Some of you may even be afraid that you will be like all alone for the rest of your life, right? That may be a fear for some of you where you may, you know, you feel like you'll never find that love, right? But as it says, right, it's help me, Lord, to send so much compassion and caring to the inner child that I always remember I myself am love, right? I feel like some of you may be afraid that you may end up alone or you may not find your love. And it's kind of a need to kind of find that love within yourself. And And once you do, I feel like it'll kind of motivate you to kind of open up and to not be afraid to share yourself with someone else, right? Your true authentic self, and to really just be you and know that you're worthy of the love that you desire, that you don't have to be afraid of being hurt or being alone, or, you know, feeling like you need to protect yourself all the time, right? But it kind of starts with that connection with yourself, right? And loving on yourself. But let's get a final message for you. Right? Some of you may even kind of have like a distorted idea of love, right? You may feel like or think that love is kind of connected with pain or with hurt or with, you know, being mistreated or not given the attention or the energy that it is you desire from another person, right? And it's kind of a need to kind of dismantle that mindset and to shift your awareness from one of seeing love as kind of painful or harmful or something that, you know, takes a lot of energy or effort, or like where you are the one always doing the work, or you are the one that's kind of always hurt, to one where you know that you are worthy of love and that you can experience love in a positive manner. So I'm going to read from the book, but let's see what you got here. So you have the Angel of Rasbar. Hopefully I said that right, but let's see what the book has to say. Okay, so it says, divine contribution is offered to those who wish to contribute to the world. The great beloved sees what is in your heart, what it is you wish to offer, and is saying yes. You are being empowered to serve, to assist, to offer a genuine spiritual contribution to this planet, to become a sacred hand at work for the will of heaven. Such is the capacity bestowed upon the soul that is wise and filled with love and therefore desiring to serve. So then, do not doubt yourself, beloved. You have been blessed with this by the Master to find the precious jewel of your own soul and claim it. Cast aside your doubts then. Yet perhaps this is not easy for you to do. Perhaps you look at the world, even your chosen field of endeavor, and already you hear so many voices speaking. You may wonder if your own contribution would simply add noise to a cacophony. You may wonder if you can really help, if you have anything genuine to add, or if there's just too much noise anyway. You may hesitate and become fearful. Do not despair, my beloved. It is part of your divine destiny to add something of great value to the world, something that has its place even amongst all that activity, something needed absolutely in the hearts of all. That precious gift is the true silence. The true silence is peace. It is the living experience of the eternal love of the divine that asks nothing but to be received and gives of itself unconditionally. That silence is present underneath even the most raucous noise, if one knows how to access it. The true silence can only be felt through the beautiful feeling heart. When you know how to feel for it, to surrender into it, you can transmit silence in many ways, through the peace you cultivate in your heart in your own daily living, through your presence, through your art, even through your voice, written, sung, or spoken. Yes, even through sound, if that is your path of service. Silence can emanate through your voice, and divine silence can be felt in the hearts of others. The true and great silence, as you may now realize, my dear angel, is not the absence of sound, and it is the experience of the divine presence of love. So shall you trust in the wisdom of the Master who bids you to serve according to the graces you have been given? Will you choose to put aside your doubts and instead believe in yourself and the power of divine love that will reach out to the world through your willing soul? Ah, yes, I knew your brave heart would accept this empowerment. I knew you wanted to serve more than you wanted to fear. Whatever is in your heart is the method by which the great jewels shall be collected. The Master teaches us that we are built to serve according to a higher perfection. So if to dance is in your heart, then dance. Be open and free. Do not hide. Dance. If prayer is in your heart, then pray. If you can feed the poor with food, if you can give the despairing kindness, the lost your words, and those who have turned away from the great Master a healing touch, then do so. Do so without doubt, without having to be the best or the greatest, or any other notion your mind conjures. Just be willing. Willingness, not perfection, is required from you. So then there is room for freedom to awaken in you. Willingness opens you to divine assistance, and through that empowerment, an even greater joy of being will grow within your sacred heart. Your service can flow from simply being yourself in the world, completely and utterly. Your radiance can become one of the sacred candles of the Holy Master. There are many candles that hold the Master's light, and let each one of them is precious beyond compare. And yet each one of them is precious beyond compare. Be such a light. Scoop up the jewels through your service, and do not render yourself incapable through nightmares of false imagings and smallness of mind. Yes, your heart is too big for your mind, and it will break it open. But that is okay. Do you think you can only serve love and are not also served by love? The helpers are always helped. This is love's way. Do you feel as though you are a foreigner in this land? Ah, Angel Rasbar shall show you the way then, for she knows you from a long, long time ago, though you might have temporarily forgotten the acquaintance. She is a great hostess and guide in this terrain of divine love, and she remembers you. You are great of heart and capable of contribution. You who are now signing up for service in the great work of love. Yes, there is work for you to do. Your purpose is bestowed. Serve, assist. Do not hold back for any reason. Not one reason you could imagine is worthy of you. So then aliveness, so then service, so then joy. Help and be helped. That is the way for you now. This oracle comes to you with guidance. You are being guided deeper into your life purpose and divine destiny. Like a maturing adult who is ready to take on the mantle of a greater responsibility, your soul is stepping up. You are going through a process of assuming more spiritual responsibility for the honest and empowered expression of your own essence. And through that, your healing presence in the world is increasing. You are stepping up and forward onto your path. This is appropriate now. It will make you more visible, but that is as it should be. It is not about being worth more than another. It is about the utterly sensible use of a light, that it not be dampened down by a shade, but instead be placed where it can cast its fullness so that others still in darkness may find their way more easily. This is efficient, intelligent, and sensible. Your success and growth is drenched in compassion and brings joy to the heart of the Master, as another and another find their way, benefiting from the light of your being. So shine true, be humble, but not dismissive of your gifts. Allow others to find their way more easily because you choose to honor the power of the great silence that emanates through you evermore as you trust and surrender. This oracle brings special messages of reassurance that you are making progress and are indeed on the right path. Although it may not unfold exactly as you anticipate, it will indeed unfold. You are making a positive impact in the world, more than you consciously realize, and you are asked, therefore, to continue. Do not give up. Do not turn back. Just continue. Take your steps, your journey, and know that the great Master is aware of you and is sending the holy ones, including that wise ancient mother, Angel Rasbar, to bring you the blessing of the true silence now. Let it clear and soothe your mind and heart and help you remember the peace that dwells within you. All is well. But that's all I have for you, Power One. I hope this reading helped you in some way. If you liked it, if it resonated, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you can see more videos like this one. Okay? I truly appreciate you and hope to see you soon in the next one. But I'm going to go ahead on to Pile 2. Peace out. If you picked pile 2, let's go ahead and see what the Haunting of Bly Manor is trying to tell you about your love life, okay? So if you picked Miles Wingrave, right? Right, if you, what's coming to my mind, if you don't like this guy, if you don't like this kid, you may have like, just almost like a feeling of, what I'm getting is like a feeling of you may have like an issue with people who you feel may be like entitled, or who kind of have everything, right? You may feel like, and I feel like if you do, that kind of comes from a feeling of like you didn't have enough, right? Growing up, or you just don't, you feel like you don't have as much as other people, right? Hey man, this is a judgment-free zone, which means, you know, don't be coming for me in the comments. But anywho's, right? Listen, for real, right? Because some of us, we do have like this kind of feeling of, we may, you know, that kind of feeling of, oh my gosh, they have this and they have that, they shouldn't be complaining, right? And that kind of comes from having experiences that were hard and feeling like you didn't have enough, right? Be it growing up, or you feel like you don't have enough now, right? And that very much resonates with Miles, because he feels, even though, you know, he lives in basically like a castle, you feel a manor, you know, he lost his parents, you know, and every one of us has experienced something that was painful, right? But sometimes we have a tendency to look at other people's experiences and be like, oh my gosh, like, why are they complaining? They have it easy, they have it good, you know. But that kind of comes from a space of feeling like you didn't get what you needed when you needed it, right? And everybody kind of feels that way in some way, shape, or form, right? So if you do feel like that, you're basically Miles. Hey man. But let's see what the cards have to say. Let's see what the cards have to say. For those who pick pile 2, right, you like, it's like, you know, you may be just kind of looking for love, looking for what you feel you're missing in your life. And sometimes when we do that, we can kind of take it out on people, or we can feel like nobody understands us, right? But, or even kind of feel like all alone, or even like you have to kind of please other people or be a certain way, whatever it is. Okay. So we have trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. Okay. So some of you may have trust issues here. And it could be because you experienced something in childhood that made it, what's coming to my mind is almost like you may be kind of stunted in your emotional growth. Does that make sense? Like, almost like if you experience something in childhood, right? What do they say? If you experience something traumatic in childhood, whenever you experience that, that's kind of when your emotional growth is kind of blocked. It kind of stops there. So if you experience something traumatic, say at the age of 10, then that's where you are kind of emotionally, right? That's how basically you kind of experience emotions as a 10-year-old would. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. So I feel like almost if you experience something traumatic, it may be good for you to kind of go back and kind of reflect on those things so that you can heal it and start moving forward with your emotional growth. Okay? Let's see what else wants to come out. For those who pick pile 2. Excuse me. Okay. So we have direction. Lord, please show me the right Lord, please show me the right action right now. Please bring a sign and a miracle that gives clear direction. May I hear the promptings of my own body, and if for some reason I'm about to head the wrong way, please stop me. Yeah, I feel like those who picked that's really pretty. For those who picked pile 2, you may not kind of even like trust yourself, trust your own kind of internal guidance when it comes to relationships, and even when it comes to just like how you move and maneuver within life, right? You may kind of even like have your walls up to the point where it's kind of hard for you to open up to express yourself, to be your true authentic self, because you kind of don't trust yourself, or you don't trust other people to kind of accept you or to kind of make the right decisions. But let's see what else wants to come out here. Or some of you may even kind of like even stop yourself from going down certain paths or connecting with certain people, right? Almost like, oh no, I'm not going that way because it gives you an off feeling. But I feel like if you do experience that, it may be, you know, kind of fears coming up and affecting how you perceive certain things. If that makes sense. Or even, you know, like Miles, you may even kind of head down dangerous paths, right? And not kind of listen to your own inner guidance. Oh, that is way too many. I don't know. Yeah, when I'm looking at this men's business, the first thing that comes to my mind is kind of like, I'm a big kid now. Like, it's really giving me like the vibes of like feeling like you have to be a certain way or to act a certain way. Even, you know, very much kind of like the Miles character, like going down the path of someone who, you know, you may have looked up to, that may not be completely positive, right? In order to be seen as worthy or to be seen as good enough. Or even like needing to perform here, needing to be a certain way or act a certain way, do certain things. Right? And it may go against your own kind of inner feelings about what's right for you. Right? And I feel like there may even be like some shame associated with actions that you took in the past. that are kind of inhibiting. Is that the right word? Inhibiting you, making it so that you feel, afraid to make a move because of, what happened when you made a move in the past. Hopefully I'm making sense. So you may kind of yeah, I feel like some of you may even be kind of reckless in love. Almost like when you make your mind up, it's like no changing it. Either be it for good or for bad, right? You may even kind of like stay in relationships for like almost like not wanting to change, not wanting to have to deal with any kind of change. Right? But I feel like if that's true, I feel like that's kind of blocking you and stopping you from improving or even meeting people who may be good for you, who would be beneficial for you. Let's see what else wants to come out. Yeah, I feel like some of you may be very much kind of having a hard time, almost like finding yourself or finding what it is that you want, right, and love in life. And I feel like it's because you may be holding yourself back. You may be kind of closing yourself in, or even kind of staying true to maybe, one idea of what you thought you wanted to have or what you thought you wanted to do or be in your life. And that's kind of, I feel kind of like slowing your progress because you're not giving, I feel like you may not be giving your attention or your energy to people or things that would be beneficial for you. Right? Like I was saying, some of you may be impulsive. You may kind of follow like your first instinct. But I feel like if you follow your first instinct, it's almost giving me the vibes of kind of like, sorry to say it, but like your instincts may be wrong. Like it may not be like instinct. It may be kind of fear, or it may be fear, or even just kind of this kind of desire to be a certain way, or to appear a certain way, or to have certain things that may not be in alignment with your highest good. Right? It may be what you want in the moment, but at the same time, I feel like going forward, it may not be exactly what you need, or what's in your best interest, or even what you really want deep down. Right? I hope this is making sense. Almost kind of like you may almost kind of feed off of right, with the sexuality here, almost like your physical desires, right? You may kind of go off of looks or go off of what a relationship or a person can provide you, but not in like a loving way. Oh my gosh, I hope like, amen. I'm not coming for anybody. I'm just kind of saying what I'm seeing in the cards, man. No judgment here at all. Kind of want to move this. Yeah, and I feel like, you know, a lot of you, if you know, if you're resonating with this message, you want something new, but I feel like you may be holding yourself back because you're kind of afraid of making any kind of change. Or even just you have like this kind of set in stone mindset about who you are, or what, or where it is you're going, or what it is that you want in a relationship, that changing it, in effect, you may feel like it changes you, or it doesn't fit you. Does that make sense? But I feel like it's because you've kind of closed off your heart here. You've kind of almost like you may associate love with either things or with kind of like the physical of someone. And you may not kind of look deeper. But I feel like you're ready to change. But it's gonna take you shifting your mind about who you are. Does that make sense? Almost like you may kind of associate or you could even kind of like, you know, if you're male, you may kind of have this kind of desire or this need to kind of be seen as the top dog, like, and you may kind of connect appearances, so like how your partner looks or their characteristics with kind of almost elevating you, almost like kind of like a trophy, like a prize. But let's see what else wants to come out here. Those who pick pile 2. Right, but I feel like it's kind of a need for you to realize, you know, you're worthy of so much more than just a physical connection or what someone can provide you, you know, like be it material or what is it, I can't think of the word, material, or say, you know, physical or just monetary, anything, or like kind of acclaim. Like if you kind of connect with or kind of create relationships based off of, oh, this sounds so bad. And I'm not judging or nothing. But if you kind of connect love with, I don't know, material things, or what someone can provide for you, or their physical appearance, or their status, that's the word I was looking for, their status or their rank in life, or just amongst other people, how other people see them, right? I feel like it's a need for you to know that you're kind of worth more than that, right? I feel like you desire love, but you may be associating love with things, or with just things, right? And it's kind of a need for you to kind of open up emotionally. Look at that. Okay. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like I was saying, I feel like you may kind of associate love with things, or with what someone can provide. But I feel like you're kind of missing that kind of emotional connection within your relationships. And so it's kind of a need to kind of, I feel, open up, connect with yourself, connect with, your own feelings, so that you kind of have a deeper understanding of what it means to kind of have love, to give and to receive love, not just through things, or the physical, right? But in a more emotional way, because I feel like you may be feeling like that's what's lacking in your life, and you may be feeling a bit lost. You may kind of have a hard time opening up to people, and you may kind of use things to connect with people, but it's kind of a need to connect more emotionally, more deeply. You get me? I'm hoping I'm making sense. I'm hoping I'm making sense. But let's get you a final message here. All right, and it may be beneficial for you to kind of go back to, or reflect on, your own kind of childhood, or where like your connection or your association with love and things kind of started, so that you can kind of, I feel, kind of break that pattern, so that it doesn't kind of make you feel like, if your worth, or your, how much someone loves you is connected to what they can provide you, or what they give you, or how, they see you, right? I hope this makes sense. Right? Because it's making me think of like, right, I have a little puppet on this card, right? How Miles did that kind of the little play, and he was like, he was saying how, basically the adults kind of treated him like a puppet, like, and you may even feel like that, where people kind of, the people that you have relationships with may see you as like a puppet, or like a prize, or even like a trophy, something that they can attain or get or have. And right, and when they are done with you, they can kind of put you down and not want to deal with you anymore. And if you feel that way, right, it's a need to kind of figure out where that started, the root of that, so that you can heal that, and so that no longer is kind of plaguing you and making it hard for you to connect with people in an emotional way, or to receive and to give the love that it is that you want, But let's get your final message here. So we have the impossible made possible, and we're going to read from the book for this. So it says, we only limit what we believe to be possible by our lack of imagination. The divine has recourse to all that is and all that is yet to be. Is there any limit to the resources of the heavens? No. So then why has not every possible dream now been rendered possible, indeed manifest in shining glory upon the earth? The human heart knows everything envisioned can manifest according to divine timing and grace, yet the mind does quake with fear, so much so that it will not listen to the heart at times. That fear is a childlike nightmare that should you offer yourself up to the sacred loving power of the great Creator, you might be found to be lacking. The mind holds itself captive with dark fantasies of that profound rejection and then avoids confronting it directly at all costs. It creates barriers instead, truly nothing more than lines in the sand, yet believed to be forts. But what strongholds can resist love? Is it like water? It seeps into every available space and changes form to survive in every environmental condition. With unfailing intelligence, it creates life, from steam to ice, rainfall, the river, and ocean. Rain descending into snowflakes, snow capping the peak, expressing itself with beauty and genius. It nestles under the earth and rises to the sky, only to return to the earth again. It will erode blockages and prevail no matter how long that process takes. It carves the earth into shape and form. Where it is, there is life. Such is the adaptable intelligence and persistence of water, just as is the power of love. So now you are guided by this loving power to drop the doubt, shed the incredulity and open up the mind. Allow your imagination to be inspired as though you are a child in a great garden, hearing the breath of the earth in the wind whipping weed. So now you are guided by this loving power to drop the doubt, shed the incredulity, and open up the mind. Allow your imagination to be inspired as though you are a child in a great garden, hearing the breath of the earth in the wind-whipped leaves and the voices of the ancestors in birdsong. The universe wants something to happen for you, something beautiful, something utterly improbable, and something perfect for your path, your own unique divine destiny. Your mind will wonder if it is even possible. People around you may wonder the same thing, but your heart will burn for it to become real, to become more than a fantastic, improbable dream. You'll want it with all your soul. You may not even be consciously aware as yet what this great desire is, but your heart knows. It holds the secret knowledge and will unveil it when your mind can handle it. When your heart is much more powerful than your mind, you won't unintentionally block the incredible grace of manifestation seeking to pour into your thirsty soul like the sweetest, purest waters of blessings. Okay? But that's all I have for you, Pile 2. I hope this reading helped you in some way. If you liked it and resonated with it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you can see more videos like this one. Okay, I truly appreciate you and hope to see you soon in the next video. But I'm going to go ahead on to pile 3. So peace out. So if you picked pile 3 here with Henry Wingrave, this here is what the Haunting of Bly Manor is trying to tell you about your love life. Okay, so if you resonate with Henry Wingrave, or even if you kind of dislike him in some way, you may have like this this tendency to kind of, right, I'm looking at the card that I drew, and it has like two faces, right? Because in the series, you know, his brother, you know, said you have this kind of basically like an angry little evil person in you. Right? So you may feel like that, or you know, you may experience that where you have one face that you show other people, and then another that you know, show yourself, or maybe even other people, right? You may have different personas based on who you're around, or like how you're feeling, that kind of thing, right? You may kind of hide yourself, hide your true face, or hide your feelings even. But let's go ahead and see what the cards have to say for those who pick pile 3 here about their love life. Okay. So we have imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. Okay. So some of you may have kind of like almost kind of like a hard time seeing past your own idea of what something is or who someone is, right? You may have a tendency to kind of make up your mind about something or someone, and you kind of have a hard time breaking out of that. Right? Or you could even have like kind of a negative perspective on love, to the point where like even thinking about love or thinking about the possibility of having like a good love or someone who loves you and cares for you, right? The kind of dream love, you may even kind of block that out, like, oh no, that's unrealistic, right? You may be a very kind of like a realist, to the point where you don't, almost kind of like you could be pessimistic to some degree, right? Where you kind of block yourself from seeing things greater than what you're experiencing, or even thinking of positive possibilities, if that makes sense. Let's see what else wants to come out here. Right? If you are single, like you may kind of, have a hard time thinking about or feeling like it's possible for you to be in a relationship or to have the love that it is that you desire, right? You may be, like I was saying, like very realistic, to the point where you may become pessimistic about love or about people. But let's see what else wants to come out for those who pick pile 3. Thank you. Okay, so you got 2 here. So we have empowerment. When you ask the divine to take over, you get pulled into your own authentic power. It's a force of inner love that wants your wholeness and magnificence. Unfold my true and radiant self, dear Lord. And self-love. Show me how to love myself. Show me how to take care of the inner child. Show me how to be kind within. When you step into self-forgiveness, so much can change on the outside. Yeah, I feel like some of you may have like a hard time seeing yourself as lovable. That's kind of what I'm picking up here, right? You may have experienced something in childhood that made you feel like you had to kind of, right? It's making me come back to this whole two sides thing, where you felt like you had to hide a part of yourself away, right? Whatever that part may be, right? Because you felt like it was unlovable, and because of that, you feel like you have this part in you that makes you unlovable, and you don't want to kind of show that part. So it may be hard for people to kind of get close to you, or you may kind of close yourself off in order for people to not see that part of you. Is that making sense? Right? And I feel like, you guys may be kind of holding back when it comes to love, right? Because there's this kind of almost this fear associated with what it means to kind of be all of yourself, for someone to see all of you and not just the parts that you were told were worthy of love. Does that make sense? Let me know down in the comments. But let's see what else wants to come out. Even some of you may have even like in childhood, right? I keep coming back to childhood, but like, hey man, your childhood is big when it comes to love and relationships, right? That has a huge effect on your relationships, whether you want to admit it or not, right? But I feel like, something, may have happened to you in childhood that kind of stunted your growth or your connection to yourself and feeling like you were worthy of love. Yeah. I feel like there is like this kind of part of you, this piece of you that you kind of keep hidden from people, right? It may show up when you're alone, right? It could be like your own kind of fears, your own kind of worries about not being lovable or not being able to have a decent relationship, where you feel like you have to kind of put on a face, this kind of persona or this piece of yourself that's perfect, that has everything together in order to be loved, right? But I feel like there's this piece of you that's still kind of hidden, that still kind of wants to come to the surface and to be expressed, and sometimes it may come out in negative ways, you know. But let's see what else wants to come out. Okay. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, I feel like for some of you there is this kind of hidden grief, this hidden pain that you may not talk about. But I feel like it may come out in, right? I feel like it's very, like when I look here at this Mother of Air, this Queen of Swords, right? It makes me think that this pain, this grief, these feelings that you may have kind of shoved down, right? Although you may not speak on it, I feel like it's very much present in your aura, in your face, in how you speak to people, right? With the Queen of Swords, you may be very short, right? Some people may say like you got away with your words. You could either, you know, slice and dice somebody, or you could either lift them up. And I feel like it's because you have these feelings within you that you haven't really completely dealt with or paid attention to, right? So they may be kind of brewing up in you, right? And you may try to kind of control them and to hold them back because you feel like they, you know, they're bad. That's kind of, you know, like that you shouldn't have them, or that you shouldn't speak on whatever it is that's going on within you. And so you kind of push them down, but they kind of have a way of kind of coming up in the worst ways, you know, be it, you know, in your relationships, be it with your friends, your family, you know what I'm saying? But let's see what else wants to come out. I feel like it's like a need for you here to really spend time with those feelings, right? To process them, to make yourself aware of them, so that they're not kind of just hidden away and kind of running rampant and crazy, because they're not given the space and the time that they need to be processed and and healed, you know. But let's see here what else wants to come out. Right? But I feel like it's very much a need for you to know that, you know, every part of you is worthy of love, right? No matter how much or you feel like it's not, or how much someone made you feel like there was a piece of you that was, you know, bad, you know. Let's see here. Yeah. Right, some of you may be dealing with like feelings of kind of fear or kind of like sadness when it comes to love. Like you may be feeling like you may never have the love that it is you desire, and you may be feeling like, you know, like I was saying, almost kind of pessimistic to the point where you feel like there's no need to even think about love, or think about being in a relationship, or think about having that special, beautiful connection. And, you know, even if you don't consciously think that it may be something within your subconscious that kind of makes you feel like, you know, it's never going to happen, or, you know, it's not in the cards for me, right? And that may kind of come up for you in ways or at the most inopportune times. You get what I'm saying? But like, it's a need for you here to kind of really trust that it's in the cards for you. It's just, it may take you some time to kind of, I feel, kind of heal and process what you've been through, right? If you may have experienced maybe some bad relationships in the past, you may still be, you know, kind of moving away from that, healing from that. And that's totally fine, right? But it doesn't mean that you won't ever have the love that you want. It's just about, you know, taking your time and getting there. It's like about divine timing, you know what I mean? Let's see what else wants to come out, and then we're gonna get your final message for you. The song that's coming to my mind is Never Had a Love Like This. And keep calling me back to your heart. Let me hear you say. So maybe some of you, you may have even like a someone that you had to kind of move away from, or maybe even kind of they may have moved away from you, and you may still be kind of thinking about them, connected to them. Yeah. And I feel like almost in kind of losing them, or having to move away from them, or them moving away from you, it kind of maybe even brought up this kind of pessimistic kind of view of love. Oh my goodness. Okay, fine. Let's see. Got the 7 of Cups showing up here twice. So I feel like, there are options here for you guys, but you may not like feel like there are. And it could be because you are kind of focused on one person in particular, and it's kind of blocking you from seeing all of the other possibilities for you, right? Because I feel like, some of you haven't completely moved on from this person, right? But take your time. I'm not here to be like, you need to let them go. But hey, if you need to hear that, hey, I'll say it for you. Let them go. Do it at your own pace, okay? Amen. Look, but I feel like even if you maybe if you kind of experienced some really kind of emotional or tumultuous relationships in the past, you may be kind of manifesting or kind of calling similar relationships into your life because you haven't completely let that pain go, right? So it's a need here to kind of release that, so it's not kind of still within your auric field, right? I'm trying to use some fancy words here, within your auric field, so that you're not really kind of calling in that same kind of energy, right? So it's a need here to really kind of heal, to kind of move past any kind of past pain, so that you're not kind of manifesting that into your life, because when you haven't completely processed or healed things, the universe has a way of kind of the universe has a way of kind of putting it in your face until you deal with it, right? So just make sure that if there is still some kind of unprocessed pain, some unprocessed hurt, be it from childhood, be it from past relationships, that you spend enough time really kind of looking at it and healing from it, so that it no longer has so much control of you and your connections going forward, okay? But let's get your final message here. So the final message for those who pick pile 3. Calling me back to your heart. Yeah, that makes sense. I see why that song popped up. Don't listen to my talking to myself, y'all. I'm sorry. Right? I feel like, if you have experienced, a painful breakup or, anything like that, just, trust that there is someone better out there for you. Okay? But you got to kind of let that other person go first. Okay? But let's see. You have here a new gown. So let's read from the book for this. A new gown. Okay. So it says, beloved, if you could only see the incredible gift, the symbolic robe being offered to you now, your fears would quake and tremble, disappearing more quickly than you could imagine. Your heart would take wings and become so light, your entire being would lift clean off the ground and soar like an angel bird amongst the playground of the Divine Mother's skies. Yet like a young one, so much younger than your years and wisdom warrant, you may hold on to your tattered robes as though they were a security blanket. Though you know it is time to let it go, you may take pause and have a moment of doubt. You may wonder if the new robes will descend swiftly enough, or that without what you have known to cling on to, you will be left stark naked, exposed, and vulnerable. These thoughts are not worthy of your status, but perhaps you are yet to realize you are of the most sublime royal lineage, that you are worthy of a cloak of galaxies, a crown of stars, a body of sacred earth, and a voice of stirring music. You may be craning your neck to see who it is that can bestow permission upon you to receive a gift of such dignity, in whom is such authority vested that you may no longer be as the beggar asking for scraps and contenting yourself with stale crumbs. You may simply decide to shed that, stand up to walk with your head held erect and with regal grace, and assume your place at the table of divine feasting. Remember that your royal birth certificate is stamped in your heart. There is no authority required, no permission to be granted. You are what you are already, and always have been thus. All that is required from you is to realize it. This oracle comes to you with sacred portent. You are fast approaching a moment of a great leap, an evolutionary shift on your spiritual path. Your sense of yourself and your divine identity is about to be revealed and realized in a way more potent than ever before. This is wonderful. It is a divine happening. You must allow it. Do not confuse humility with humiliation. Do not humble yourself excessively. You do not have to battle with false pride either. Simply honor yourself as a living being, worthy of life, worthy of this royal path of divine realization. What a gift it is to cast aside belief in inferiority or superiority, unhelpful as those notions are for you now. What a gift instead to embrace your own path, irrespective of what any other may think, whether they hold it in glory or derision. Who cares? Not you, nor I. Your royal heritage has been revealed, and in seeing the divinity within yourself, you become blessed to see it in all beings returning to the realization of royalty within. Crazed, searching outside of the heart will come to an end. A simple golden path will be found, as though a river of molten gold flows from your heart back to the oceanic heart of the great beloved, where, united again, you finally ascend your throne and claim your divinity once and for always. This oracle comes with sacred guidance for you. You are stepping into empowerment. Wow. In a new way, and it is to be honored. Do not allow yourself to be dragged into dramas or power games. You are worth so much more than that. You are tapping into your inner dignity, and others may not know how to respond. Some will respond with love and acknowledgement, others with fear and judgment, calling you too big for your boots or high and mighty. Those are voices of fear, not truth. Be in your dignity and power and keep going. It is the divine that urges you thus, not the ego. Do not doubt the changes happening within you now. Embrace them. All right. But that's all I have for you, Pile 3. I hope this reading helped you in some way. If you liked it, if it resonated, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos like this one. I truly appreciate you and hope to see you soon in the next one. Okay, but I'm going to go on to Pile 4. So peace out. So if you picked Pile 4, I'm so sorry about the noise in the background. This here is what the Haunting of Bly Manor is trying to tell you about your love life. Okay, so Owen. If you resonate with Owen, right? Excuse me. You may be a mama's boy. No. No, you may like very much, have a loyalty and a care and a love for your family to the point where you may be self-sacrificing, right? But if you kind of don't like the guy, right? I don't know. You may kind of be against that, right? You may be very much like very focused on, or feel like it's really important for you to stand on your own and be yourself and to do what it is you've been called to do here on this earth, right? To walk in your path, right? No matter what other people think, or expect of you. But let's go ahead and see what the cards have to say here. For those who picked Pile 4. All right. Okay, so we have freedom. Look, I was okay. I would talk about that. But it says, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness, right? So some of you, you could either struggle with like following your own path, or doing, you know, what you feel you're called to do, right? Being free, right? Or you may just, you know, be the complete opposite, where you feel like, hey man, I need to be free, you know, to the point where it's like, screw everybody else. Hey man, no judgment. Do you, boo. Do you. Okay, but let's see what else wants to come out for you. Right, some of you may even kind of struggle with shining, you know, shining, 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 shining. Is that a song? I don't know, but that's what I heard in my head. You may feel like, you know, you have to dim yourself, to dim your glow, or to kind of hold yourself back in order to appease other people. Okay, be it, you know, family members, or be it, you know, your romantic partner. Right? Some of you could even kind of, what's coming to my mind, you could even, you know, hey man, if it's not for you, if it doesn't resonate, it ain't for you, right? Some of you could even deal with maybe, you know, questions about your own kind of sexuality, or anything like that, where you may feel like you kind of have to hide yourself, or to be something that isn't you, in order to appease other people. But let's see here. Okay, so we have striving. Eventually, the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arise. Thank you, Divine, for letting me move with the flow. Yeah, I feel like some of you may be very much like, when it comes to love, you may have like this kind of desire, right, to kind of want to be free. Or you could, you know, deal with maybe commitment issues, or you may like be attracted to people who deal with commitment issues. Hey man, either way it go, either way the story go, you know. But I feel like you may be kind of contending with, or fighting with, this need to be at a certain place in your life, or doing a certain thing, or, you know, maybe even kind of dealing with maybe judgment from other people about, you know, whether or not you're in a relationship, or whether or not you have kids, whether or not you're married, whether or not you're doing the right thing, right? And you may be like, oh my goodness, you know, trying to keep your head above water, and to find your own way when it comes to love, when it comes to life, when it comes to who you are and what you want to accomplish here on this earth, right? And you may be kind of fighting against the norms, right? Fighting against what is expected of you. Amen. I understand. But let's see what else want to come out. So powerful. Yeah, you may be fighting to be seen for who you are, right? But I feel like, oh my goodness, the message here is you don't have to fight no more, okay? I feel like, yeah, with this dreaming in reverse, there's a dream here. We got a lot of cards on the floor, you guys. So 1 second. Oy. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. I feel like, you know, like I was saying, I feel like you may be kind of fighting to find your flow, fighting to find yourself, even about fighting to find what it is that you want, what it is you feel would make you feel complete, or feel whole, feel like yourself, right? But I feel like it's a need here for you to really kind of like trust in yourself, to trust in your own ability to know what is right for you. And to not be afraid to take those steps towards what it is you feel called to do, or you feel called to be, right? Or if, you know, your parents your mama may not agree with your life decisions or agree with who you decided to be with, it may be important for you to really, reflect on that, and to make sure, you're not making decisions just because you want to kind of go against the grain, but really that you're making decisions based on what you feel is right for you. Does that make sense? Look at that. Mama and daughter. Right? You may be kind of fighting against tradition even. All right? Some of you may not even want to be married or in a committed relationship or in a monogamous relationship. You know what I'm saying? You may be like, hey man, I'm poly, but hey, you got to do what's best for you. Let's see what else wants to come out for those who pick pile 4. Yeah, I feel like, if you pick this pile, you may be like the norm may not just be your thing, whatever it may be. Maybe, you don't want to be monogamous. Maybe you don't want to be in a committed relationship. Maybe you don't want to get married and have kids. And that may be making you feel like something's wrong with you because, people don't understand or people don't accept it. But it's like really a need for you to follow and to connect with what you feel is right for you. And not feel like you have to kind of fight to be understood or fight to, for people to understand where you're coming from, right? As long as it's true to you, true to your heart, that's what matters. Okay? Let's see what else. See what else wants to come out. Yeah, it's like a need for you to know what it is that you want, and to not feel like, something's wrong with you because you may have like a different idea about love or a different idea about, how your life is supposed to be than what other people expect of you, But here with this worthiness showing up, there may still be here, especially with this 5 of Pentacles as well, you may have a negative mindset about yourself, or feeling like you may be unworthy, feeling like you don't deserve the love that it is that you desire, and there's a need here for you to kind of to make peace with I feel like very much to make peace with your truth, to make peace with who you are and what it is that you want in this life, and not feel like you have to give it up in order to make other people happy. See what else wants to come out, and then we're going to get your final message, okay? Right, and it doesn't mean that you have to kind of distance yourself. Well, you don't have to cut yourself off from people unless they're, not good for you. But, don't feel like you have to, fight with people or make them understand, right? If they're meant to be in your life, they will, otherwise make your peace with it, okay? But let's see what else. Yeah, I feel like some of you may be like wanting to almost, here's the Queen of Pentacles coming up again, like to move away from, like I was saying, like the tradition, or to move away from your mom, right? Or just this persona, this idea of what people feel you should be doing. And it's okay to do that, right? It's okay for you to move with your heart, right? To let your heart lead the way for you, and not to feel like something's wrong with you, or you're less than because you're not fitting into the prescribed box or idea of what other people think you should be doing, or who they think you should be with, or what, you know what I mean? That's okay, right? For you to be happy. You kind of let go of this, whatever it is that people have kind of assigned to you, you know? See if anything else wants to come out. All right. Yeah, I feel like some of you may still be trying to figure out what you want in life, right? If you want to settle down, if you want to do this, if you want to do that, and it's okay, right? To still be in the figuring it out stage. That's fine, right? Don't feel like you need to be a certain thing or to what have you, right? You don't have to do that. But all right, just make sure that you kind of tune into your heart. Listen to your heart and let that guide you, right? But not like, don't really, what I'm getting here is like, don't kind of focus on the outcome or this idea of what happiness looks like, but you kind of move with what feels right. Okay, well, let's get your final message here. Some of you could even like be in a relationship right now, right? Maybe some of you may have been in a relationship for a while, and you may be kind of wondering whether or not, you kind of want to continue this going forward. And I feel like, it's time for you to kind of figure that out for yourself, and not to kind of let other people guide your way or make the decision for you, right? With this spiritual maturity, it's a need for you to know what it is that you want. What is it that you want when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to, your life? And is what you're doing now fitting that? If not, then it may be time for you to make some moves, to make some changes. And it's up to you to kind of shift and move things in order to get them into alignment with what you feel most connected with, right? Right? If you're afraid of hurting other people, right? If you're stopping yourself from making decisions out of fear of hurting people, you're basically hurting both yourself and that other person, because you're not being true to yourself. You're not being true to what you really want. So, there's that. We have the dissolving light here as your final message. So let's see. Let's read from the book here. So it reads, there is a light so intense, so powerful that nothing other than itself, its own truth, can exist in its presence. It is the sacred seed, the star of your being, lit up from within. It is the light that never goes out. It is the light that is so powerful, it is beyond duality of light and dark, cannot ever be extinguished or diminished, and quite simply beyond all logic, just is. Certainly no lie or deception, no boundary or defense can remain intact in its presence. The blazing divinity of this light sears through any pretense, annihilates illusions, and takes us from stark experience of divine truth. Takes us into stark experience of divine truth. It is gentleness, and yet it cannot be overcome. It is enduring power, and yet it is tender. Though you seek the divine and even know it let me slow down. Though you seek the divine and even know it as love, you also know that it is fierce, wild, inexplicable, and demanding beyond all measure. It wants you completely, utterly, without condition. There will be times in your life, such as now, when there is something not worthy of you that must be released. This is a falsehood, a lie, or deception of some sort that you have come to believe about yourself, your life, or perhaps even another. You may know what that deception is, or it may be about to be unveiled. It is not a cause for fear or concern, but for celebration. An illusion has or soon will be released, and you shall become freer, free in a way that only truth can provide. This oracle comes to you as a sign of that which is to come, and soon. The beloved divine presence is calling to you, igniting within your deepest being so that it may have its way with you. The divine wishes to live through you and into the world, reaching into the hearts of many and igniting those hearts into greater life. It is a clever and insatiable lover. It will stop at nothing until the entire human race is restored to the wild divine freedom of ecstatic divine reunion, completely and utterly ignited in love. And so the great lover, the divine, calls for you to enter into the white-hot field of its passionate presence. There will be sizzle and burn. It cannot be otherwise. In the height of summer, you cast aside the layers of clothing you require in the winter. This is natural. You do not think twice about it. As you approach the radiant sun of divinity, your emotional and psychological layers are to be shed too, for they are too heavy for the heat of the great spiritual sun. What cannot stand for the heavenly heat is to be cast aside swiftly by conscious choice, or shall simply burn off, dissolving in the light and melting away. What is left shall be what is true. So here is your guidance, sweet lover of the great beloved. Give it up. The smallness, the conditions, the fears and doubts, the lack of reverence for yourself and life, the belief that somehow things are not okay or aren't going to work out. That is all a paltry attempt at truth. You are coming into a truth now that is far more worthy of you. A truth with a capital T, the big truth, love, trust, surrender. This is about a sacred shedding without fear or holding back. Cast aside whatever would hold you back rather than free you to fly into your divine destiny. You are not to be the same from this moment on. This is the holy word, the word inscribed in living divine fire in your sacred heart. This oracle brings you guidance. Trust in your changing perspective and perceptions. Don't hold on to what you once believed or thought to be true. Allow yourself to be shown another version of events, another way of perceiving. Don't focus on what is not working in your current estimation of things, for that is nothing more than a passing opinion. You are being given an opportunity to see and know yourself. Others and particular life circumstances vary differently. Embrace it. Don't resist what is being shown to you, for even if there are some struggles in adjusting your view at first, ultimately this change in perception will free you and bring you more deeply into the wellspring of your own inner peace and happiness. Okay? But that's all I have for you, Pile 4. I hope this reading helped you in some way. If it resonated, if you liked it, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so that you can see more videos like this one. I truly appreciate you and hope to see you soon in the next one. All right? Peace out.